Earlier this month, the LPGA Tour made its annual trip to Williamsburg, Virginia for the Kingsmill Championship. Stacy Lewis came into the event as the in-form player after a barnstorming finish saw her win the North Texas LPGA Shootout by 6 shots. For a girl who grew up in nearby Houston, it definitely counted as a hometown victory, and Stacy sat down with Golfing World to reflect on the latest memorable win in an already impressive career.
It was one of those perfect weeks. You know, it was coming off a frustrating week in San Francisco and then going and getting it done at home was really, really nice. And having the family there to celebrate with. You know, my sister had never seen me win before, so she was pretty excited. And to do it the way I did, that's what I was most proud of. You know, I had played well in final rounds and still kind of finished second. And so I felt like I had something to prove and just went out there and took care of business.
To say Stacy took care of business is something of an understatement. Her final round included 6 birdies and an eagle as the world #2 carded her second 64 of the tournament. However, it was a par save late in the day that proved crucial to maintaining her momentum.
After hitting the tee shot in the water and then hitting the wedge in there to 2 feet to save par, that was really kind of what sealed the deal. And so that's what I was proud of, is I could have leaked some oil coming in, I could have made some bogeys, but instead I went out of there and had every shot planned out the way I wanted to do it and was able to execute.
Stacy's win continues an impressive 12 months for the 29-year-old when she's arguably been the most consistent player on tour. Heading into Kingsmill, she'd finished in the top 10 or better at 18 of her previous 20 tournaments, and she's closing fast on current world #1 in B Park.
#1, I mean, I want to get there, but that's not the ultimate goal for me. You know, I want to win golf tournaments, and the rankings, the money list, the CME Globe, I mean, everything else takes care of itself if you win tournaments. I had 7 second-place finishes, and I shot under par every round. So every final round. So it wasn't like I was doing anything wrong. So that was the frustrating part, is I felt like I was doing a lot of things right, but that's what I kept telling myself. I'm doing things right, and eventually, you know, the cards have to fall my way.
If Stacy continues in this vein of form, June could be a big month in her career. For the first time in the sport's history, the USGA has elected to run the men and women's US Opens in back-to-back weeks at the same venue, at none other than the famed Pinehurst #2 course.
Being at Pinehurst the week after the guys is going to be, it's a huge asset for a tour. You know, I think it's going to be a good test. You know, we're definitely going to get some weird lies in the new native. We're going to be in some divots. It's just pretty much a guarantee. So you practice it and you don't get upset about it when you get in one. But I think the exposure we're going to get, you know, hopefully what happens is people see great golf and they see that we can play these golf courses just as good as the guys can. You know, that's the ultimate goal at the end of the week.
Stacy certainly knows all about what it takes to win golf's biggest events. Last year, on a very windy Sunday at the old course at St. Andrews, she emerged victorious at the Women's British Open. Lewis finished off a memorable few days at the home of golf with birdies at the 17th and 18th as she claimed her second major championship.
I was so excited we were going to St. Andrews in general, so I think I went there with just a really positive attitude, and I was excited to play the course again. I know it really well. It was playing so hard that nobody was really kind of hitting golf shots, and so then for me to pull those shots off when nobody else was, you couldn't script it any better.
Stacy's rise to one of the best players in the world after recovering from childhood scoliosis is well documented, but it's still a story that inspires, and at Kingsmill she was presented with the first annual Dove Women of the Military Award for overcoming a significant adversity.
It's still a strange thing to me because I think what I went through growing up, I had to. I didn't really have a choice. You know, I didn't have a choice on whether I was going to go through that or not. And so to be recognized for it, it's really nice. But more than anything, it's to get the story out there, and you know, hopefully the people can relate to it a little bit in something they're going through. And you know, that's why I share my story, because I think people can relate to it, whether you know it's a little kid in a back brace or you know somebody going through something else.
The fact Stacy is having such an impact on the lives of people is no great surprise to fans of the LPGA Tour. She is unquestionably one of the faces of women's golf and is recognized all over the world. This profile was far from her mind when she graduated in 2008 as a 4-time All-American.
Coming out of school, I was very shy and didn't, I didn't really want all the attention. I just wanted to come out and play good golf, and that was all I wanted to do. But I think you realize pretty quick that if you don't talk about it, you don't do the media stuff, you don't talk about our tour, we're never going to get anywhere. And so that's kind of been my objective the last few years is to grow the game of golf. I may look natural doing it, but it's still a little uncomfortable for me. And I'm getting to where I do enjoy it a little bit more, but I'm definitely most comfortable inside the ropes.